Hello everyone, drakerobi here. Um, and I have a confession I have to make. Yes, it is true. It is very, very true. I am afraid. I am deathly afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of being rejected. There you go. People wanted me to admit it. I admit it. And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why, my fellow good guys out there, you guys should be afraid of rejection too. Especially in this modern era we live in. Because, back in the day, as they say, that's why I yearn for the past. Back in the day, individuals who are the opposite sex of me, I'll say, they carried themselves way differently than they do nowadays. You know, back in the day, they had respect for themselves, respect for overall. You know, they it wasn't a game of playing pretend that they can do whatever it is a guy can do. Um, they there wasn't the internet to here to gas them up with all this make believe stuff that they can do every last thing, all this entitlement that they have nowadays, with all this just toxicity that they carry with themselves nowadays. There wasn't any of that, so they had, they just had a lot more respect and a lot more realistic, higher expectations. But nowadays, what the internet has done is, like I said, gas them up, well, on their profiles, on their, half a dozen. I can't even name all the social media stuff apps they have nowadays. Um, have gas filled their head with a lot of unrealistic BS, unrealistic garbage that they're strong and independent and they can do pretty much everything it is a guy can do, and they don't really need a strong male in their life. And that's essentially the attitude of vast majority of the opposite sex of me carry nowadays. And it, it was you know and I've seen videos like of people, men, walking up to them and trying to be cordial. It's not a good guy. It's not good. Not to be clear, they look like other Tyrones to me. They don't carry themselves as good guys. So these are like kind of their own in their own like privileged society. So I see a lot of them, but they not only do they reject them right off the bat, but they start getting hostile and violent and just, like I said, very unneedingly. And these are to like their fellow blue pillar, society people. So if they're getting that hostile and aggressive with them, imagine if a good guy like myself were to, or to try. It would be pointless. It'd be like we probably wouldn't make it through it. We'd probably be having a eulogy written about us. If we ever tried to approach, you know, the opposite sex. In any sort of gracious way, as of course we know how. So, like, yes, especially nowadays, I'm afraid that, I'm deathly afraid of rejection. I'm deathly afraid of getting pointlessly insulted. I'm deathly afraid of getting assaulted, potentially, because I've also seen those videos. So, yes, when people say, oh, well, you just don't try. You're just, you just find any kind of way to complain. Well, yeah, because things were better back in the day. Things were more back in the day. Things were more before social media. I mean, back in the day, things were, I grew up in the mid 2000s, early to mid 2000s, so, social media was well, the internet was a thing, but it wasn't the top success pool it is today. And, it's just very, yeah, very backwards. Not everything is nowadays. I honestly think people have a mental illness when it comes to a lot of this online stuff. Like it is, especially a lot of these blue pillars. They live in an alternate reality. I live in reality. Choose to live that. Choose to have a to have an honest living for myself. Even if I do dislike it, but I choose that because I believe in the value of a dollar. I know these blue pillars raise their kids to not have that so much. Um, and they think that the internet is gonna be their golden ticket to popularity. And the sad thing is that it's true. We've seen one of the some of the just well, I shouldn't say that, but we have seen definitely I'll just say the downfall of society uh, every day with the type of people that are made famous by this oh so gracious platform, YouTube, just the internet in general. So I say all this to say, yes, I am a card carrying member of the Afraid of Rejection club, society, whatever you want to call it. And, that won't change because unfortunately, unless the internet goes dark and people have to interact with one another, in person, that'll never happen. So, yeah, I'm out.